Parking sucks in Philadelphia and some of the surrounding neighborhoods, and we're going to explain your options to park in the city and some local municipalities outside the city that are changing parking. So if you get some value out of this, you like what you hear, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and if you want to schedule a call to find out how you can identify a home with parking where you don't have to deal with these problems, or just talk about your real estate needs, you can do that with the link in the comments. So parking is a pain, and we've seen it really be a pain point in these downtown boroughs as well as the city of Philadelphia. Places like Narberth, Westchester, Phoenixville, Media, as well as the city itself, there's always issues around parking, and people are constantly getting ticketed and complaining about it. Places like Rittenhouse Place in Ardmore, they have people walking up and down the streets making sure that your parking is paid, and there's constantly ticketing going on. So we've seen a couple things happen here I wanted to share around parking. The first is that in Narberth Borough, in Lower Merion School District in Montgomery County, beginning July 1st, so this just got enacted, there will be a 2-hour parking permitting system that takes effect. And the borough is also going to migrate to all digital parking, which I think is a smart move, because if you got to put coins into a meter right now, that's probably not going to happen. I don't know about you. I don't keep a lot of change in my car these days. So the apps, ParkMobile is a really great one. I'd be downloading that if I was you to make sure you can get easy public parking, whether you're in one of these downtown boroughs, downtown areas, or the city itself. And you won't need parking stickers anymore in Narberth. And they divided the borough in Narberth, the officials did this, into 3 parking neighborhoods to allow for flexibility for people with parking permits. So residents that live along a street identified as a restricted parking zone can park anywhere within each zone. Permits will no longer be assigned to specific streets, and any resident who currently has a parking sticker will be required to register, and you can get more of this information right on the Narberth Borough website. We're also seeing in Lower Merion, they're making sidewalk improvements because a lot of people are walking, and this hits a lot of different places like Ardmore. And Lower Merion residents are there's a community meeting coming up on July 16th in the 2nd floor at the Township Building, where they're going to be talking about 14 high priority sidewalk projects. So you're seeing that parking and walking are becoming a priority for a lot of these towns. The other parking news that we have is in Westchester Borough. So Westchester Borough changed the rules on how many parking spaces are going to be required for a builder to incorporate into new housing developments. And they're going to need to supply more spaces than what were required just 3 years ago in 2021. And that's the last time the ordinance was changed, because not as many were required by prior to 2021 zoning ordinances. And the goal is to not cripple development, but find the right size. This is going to be a challenge for a lot of people in Westchester Borough. And the councilwoman, Nicole Scamoni, she said that the borough was miscategorized as dense urban in previous planning studies because it lacks full public transit and does not host the correct type of jobs and lacks a lot of businesses like grocery stores. So the borough is closer to an urban suburban setting. And the new rule calls for 1.2 parking spaces per 1-bedroom unit, 1.7 spaces for a 2-bedroom home, and 2.2 parking spaces for a 3-bedroom unit, and 2.5 spaces for a 4-bedroom home. And anything that's already been approved will not have to change their parking plans unless alterations are made. So one question I got here is, I don't know how you get these 0.2 and 0.7 parking spaces, but you can see this is becoming a focus. So when you're going to these places like Media, Westchester, Narberth, Ardmore, Malvern, downtown Wayne, what I would be clear on before you go is, where are the public parking lots located? I'd be downloading that ParkMobile app so you're not going to run into issues here. And if you're thinking about buying or selling a home in any of these downtown areas where there's like a little main street, you got shops, restaurants, bars, places to go, I'd be making sure that parking is included with whatever you're buying, especially if it's a townhome or if it's a condo. Understand what parking's included. We recently sold a condo in Center City, and the value for the buyer there was that it had a deeded parking space included in the sale. So you really want to understand that stuff. Now let's get into the worst place to park out of all of them, Philadelphia. So if you go to the Visit Philly website, they have a whole page. It's visitphilly.com/parking. We'll see if we can put the link into the description here for you. And it talks about all the different parking that's there. So if you go to the PPA website, the Philadelphia Parking Authority, they have a PPA parking locator you can use. And the website is it's philapark.org. And you can check that out to understand where you can find public parking that's going to be available. Then in addition to that, on-street parking, there's thousands of metered spots in Philadelphia. But it only works if you're planning on parking there for an hour or two. And each residential and business area of the city has different parking regulations tailored to the neighborhood's needs. And you want to check out the signs, right? 2-hour parking, 15-minute parking, loading zone, whatever that is. Every metered block also includes one space for people with disabilities that need to have parking available. So make sure you understand where you're parking down there. I would have a plan before you go visit. And obviously, if you're moving there looking for a place with parking, we've seen some places charge anywhere from $50,000 to $75,000 for a parking spot in Philadelphia. Neighborhood parking is also available, and some places offer permit parking for area residents. And those visitors are allowed to park on the streets for up to 2 hours, but they get ticketed if they stay longer. So I've been using the PPA website, and there's also PPA parking garages and lots right on the philapark.org website. It's PHILA Park, PARK.org. And, to me, I'd rather park in a garage knowing I'm not getting a $50 ticket. And sure, it's going to cost some money, but your car's going to be safe. You're not going to have to worry about finding it later. You're not going to deal with ticketing. And there's tons of garages and lots throughout the city. Then there's also some coin-operated meters with a kiosk system. So I would download the app. Like I said, that's going to be pretty critical. And many neighborhoods, they're switching to those metered kiosks. So I would make sure you understand if it's a kiosk where you got to get a ticket and put it on your dashboard versus the coin-operated. Lastly, the app in Philadelphia is a little different. It's called the Meter Up app. And that's just for the Philadelphia Parking Authority. It's different than ParkMobile, which is the pretty common one a lot of folks use. And you can check that out right on the visitphilly.com/parking website. So I would make sure you have these apps downloaded. The whole point is parking can be a problem. There's going to be more regulations around that. So if I'm looking for a home or I'm thinking about selling a home, emphasize if you've got parking or prioritize a place with parking. And if you don't, understand what the public parking options are going to be, whether you're visiting or you're buying a property. If there's anything we can do to help guide you around parking and real estate decisions, use the link in the comments to schedule a call with our team.